Tommy, as always, this podcast is presented by Cash App. And when Luka signed his max extension over the offseason with the Mavericks, I tweeted out that he owed me $1,700 that he could Cash App me, which he, of course, never did, even though I sent him my Cash App handle.
You commented on it multiple times, and he had not.
Yes, and he still hasn't to this day, despite the fact that us being in the same room earlier this week. But here's what I realized after we recorded this episode. I'm willing to forgive the debt because he came on our show. I think that's a fair compromise.
Yes. I think those debts are forgiven, but if he owes you more down the road, he's going to have to pay you on Cash App.
Yes, for sure. So again, Luka, your debts are forgiven. Thank you.
All right, let's welcome in a very special guest. Luka, thank you so much for doing this, man.
You're welcome.
I didn't want to have to do this. I didn't want to have to air our shit out on the podcast. But you owe me $1,700. And I really want to collect that. And I went through today. I went in my notes section on my phone, and I have my books from our Tonk and Boo-Ray games, and it clearly says LD 17 next to it.
Okay, what about the half-court shot, though?
What about the half-court shot?
You owe me like $1,000 from the half-court shot.
Luka, what was your first JJ impression when you first met him?
He was a vet when I met him. That was the first time meeting, right?
Yeah.
I remember a lot of, before, he was elite, he could run. But when he came to the Mavs, he couldn't run at all. But what I have to say, he could have missed a shot. So, no, I was just glad to meet him. I remember those great years in Clippers, Orlando, your only dunk in Orlando. I remember that. But, yeah, it was nice. It was great meeting him.
I regret that you and I did not get to play together when I was physically fit. I was hurt. I'd had PRP done right before I got to you guys, right before I got traded to you guys. And it never was right. And I regret, being a shell of myself with Dallas.
Yeah, I know you were. I wish I would play with you too. That was automatic assist. So I regret that too.
You guys are, let me hold it. Who was the interview we did with that? Was it Chris or Draymond? I think it was Draymond. Draymond's was very egregious. Oh, Jess.
Is it working?
No, you're good. Yeah. It's the people on YouTube, they always point out, it's fine.
Well, that's what people do.
Yeah, that's what people do. So anyways, you guys are on a bit of a run lately. Got off to a slow start this year. You're 26-8 in your last 34 games. You're now tied for fourth with the Jazz, record-wise in the West. What do you think has been the sort of catalyst or the key to this turnaround you guys have had this year?
I would say like this, obviously we had the whole new coaching staff. So I think you can't start since the beginning, you're just going to win games by game, you got to build up. I think with J-Kid, we built something here, and he been trusting trust the process. I mean, that's Philly, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And, we were just playing way better defense in the last couple of years, and that's really how we win the games, by defending people.
Yeah, you guys are up to 6th overall in defense.
Defensive player of the year right here.
Yeah, you should definitely get some votes for all defensive team.
Yeah, for sure. At least third.
At least third. You'll be in the running for third place or third team all defense for sure. When the season started, and this is not a knock, Luka, so don't take this personally. I'm just saying that the Twitterverse, the NBA Twitter world, a lot of the discourse around you was that you came into camp out of shape. There was the picture of you enjoying yourself after the Olympics, smoking hookah. And I think you even admitted that you came into the season out of shape. For some context, of course, it was we played until June 7th of last year. You got ready for the Olympics. You played the Olympics. It was a short turnaround for you. Did you touch a ball between the Olympics and training camp? Did you do anything?
Yeah, I did, but mostly just basketball. Just shooting, not physical preparation. So that was my mistake there.
Hold on a second.
Don't cut this out later. Don't cut it out. Just put it.
Leave it. I know. I usually have my phone on silent. There we go. Where were we? Oh, you're. So here's a question I have for you, because I was around the team last year, and there are jokes about your physique, but I feel like you and Pat Beverly sort of talked about this last week when he talks about guarding you, is that your body makeup is just different than a lot of guys. Do you feel like your size is really it's an advantage, especially as you sort of get into your dribble package?
Yeah, for sure. But the other thing, I think a lot of people don't know me. My legs are good. I have like good legs, not for jumping, obviously, but strong legs. Somebody calls them tree trunk legs. But I think that helps me a lot, and size-wise too, And if the point guard is going to guard me, I'm going to have advantage in the post.
Yeah.
Did you feel like when you got to the league, there was any adjustment in terms of just figuring out what like 48 minutes in the NBA is versus playing overseas?
Yeah, for sure. But the other thing is in Europe, the timeout is 1 minute, and you don't have as many timeouts. Here you have, if you have play TV game, you have like 4 minutes timeout. You can go get a beer and come back, to play. But it's everything is just, the game is longer, but it's more intense too. So I think it's kind of both ways.
Let's go back to Europe. Let's go back to young Luka, even prior to signing with Real Madrid, when you started playing basketball. What was it about the game? What was it about basketball that made you fall in love with it?
Well, my father played, so I was always in contact with basketball. Every time he had a game in the halftime or before the game, I was gonna shoot. Even if I couldn't hit the rim because I was 3 years old, but I was always with the ball playing. And just since then I always liked basketball. I was playing a lot of sports. I think they helped me a lot in basketball, but I was only good at basketball, so that's why I decided to play basketball.
When did you sort of develop the flair of your game? Was that after going to Real Madrid at 13, or was that even as a young player in Slovenia? In terms of the no-look passes, the behind the back, the step backs, did you have that flair and that shit to your game even back then?
I wouldn't say so, but I think the most underrated part about me is passing. I really like passing. The court vision is something something I even had when I was little. I saw what people are gonna do, how they're gonna guard me, and where the passes go. But I think just through the year, just playing basketball, learning. I didn't really use the step back in Europe, but then I did it against Houston in my first year, and they say, "Oh, you have a great step back," and since then I've been doing the step back. I didn't really
you did it against Houston? You did it in the game? You hadn't practiced it really? No,
I never before. I never really practiced the step back. But since then, it was I scored 3 threes and a 2 against Houston. At the end of the game, it was 3 step backs. And then everybody said, "Oh, you got the step back." And since then, I've been practicing step backs, man. It's been working good.
Did you feel like your instinct, because your just basketball instinct has been that way since you started playing, or did you have a period when you were younger where you felt mentally a switch flipped and you kind of figured it out?
No, I wouldn't say switch. I would say just like I said, through the years, when I was in Madrid, I was always playing with the older guys. So I could learn a lot from them. Then with 16, I started to practice with the first team. And, you just watch and then try to do it on the court and just learn from that.
What made you, at 13 years old, sign with Real Madrid, travel and move to a different country, 1,000 miles away from where you grew up?
We use kilometers in Europe. No, I can. It was a very tough decision, man. It was. I had to leave all my family, all my friends, the school I was there, everything, So I wasn't gonna go. And then just one day I woke up and I say I want to go. But like for 6 months I was saying no. And then one day I woke up, I said I want to go, and it didn't turn out bad.
Can you do the math real quick? Do you know how many kilometers 1,000 miles is?
I don't know, man. I think 1 mile is like 2.3 kilometers.
Okay.
If I'm not.
So roughly 2,300 kilometers.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I think so. I don't know.
All right.
Did you have periods when you were there where you were, because you were still so young, you didn't regret it at all? You just were like, fuck this?
First, let's say like first 3-4 months, it was really tough. I didn't know nobody. Actually, I almost didn't speak English either. Like, I just know how to say hello, how are you, and that stuff. Nobody spoke my language. I didn't speak Spanish. So it was really tough. And that's how I learned Spanish so quick. And in 3 months, I could speak Spanish like this because I would just listen. But it was really tough, you know. In 3 months, I was like just doing nothing. Just be there, listen, be quiet, and just stay there.
Can you sort of compare the NBA to maybe not just the ACB, but the Euroleague in general? And the Euroleague is probably the second best league in the world.
Yeah.
ACB, in terms of a national league, is probably the second best. So just kind of compare the two, the NBA between Europe.
Well, I would say European basketball is more team basketball, more tactics basketball. But it's, it's very different because the court is smaller, the fouls are different, the rules are different, so everything's different, and you have less time. But just playing in the NBA, you have guys they're almost impossible to guard, and that's why NBA is way more tougher to play. I only say scoring is easier in NBA, just because of the amount of the different rules, the less space, the time. So that's why I said it.
So you think it's harder to score 30 points in a EuroLeague game than it is in an NBA game?
Yeah, 100%.
But there's better players over here.
Oh, way better players. Yeah. I'm just saying because of the rules.
Yeah.
Because the guy can stay. If you have a guy like, let's say, Rudy Gobert, he can stay in the paint on defense 3 seconds, however he wants. Like, just because of that rule, you can have 10 more points easily.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Looking back on your draft class, it's shocking that you were not the number one pick, given your resume. Did you care where you went in the draft? Was there like a point of pride? Because we've talked to Cade Cunningham was adamant that he would be the number one pick. Like, he wanted to be the number one pick. Was it a point of pride for you to be the number one pick? Did that matter at all?
No, not at all. Not at all. And I didn't care where I was going. Like, I didn't know any cities. I didn't know it was good city or was bad city. I was just happy to be drafted in the NBA, and that was like everything. But I think I got the best destination I could possibly get, and just to have Dirk as a mentor there is just unbelievable.
Did you ever figure out why Sacramento didn't take you?
No. But they said because they had Fox, so
Yeah.
they needed a big, which I get.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that. Your first impressions of Dallas. You'd never been to Dallas.
Never.
You'd pretty much only been to the big cities, LA.
No, I only been to Santa Barbara, and only Santa Barbara and Six Flags in LA. Really? Seriously. I went twice to Santa Barbara to work at P3.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Great place.
I've been there.
I was gonna say, what was your impression of it before you got over here to play? What was your impression of the U.S. in general?
But just what do you mean impression? Like how are the cities?
Like, did you want to come? Like, were you looking forward to coming back? Were you just kind of like, oh, this is just like another place? Like, was there?
Oh yeah. I wanted to come back. I wanted to visit a lot more places. But that time, I could just go to Santa Barbara. I was there for like 2 weeks, and on the weekend I went to Six Flags in LA. So that was it. That's everything I saw.
So anyways, first impressions of Dallas when you got to Dallas.
Oh, great city, man. I always say Dallas, you have everything, but not too much.
Yeah.
And you have great restaurants, great people, great everything, and I love Dallas.
Yeah. Was there any surprises or big adjustments you had to make when you moved here in terms of U.S. lifestyle? Or were there any big surprise adjustments you had to make in terms of lifestyle in the NBA versus lifestyle in Europe?
I mean, lifestyle in NBA is way different than in Europe, obviously. You know, a lot more people is going to know you. Because in Madrid, you have soccer. So soccer is number one. And then you have and then 10th is basketball. I mean, second. But a lot of places in. But the only thing I would say is the time-wise. Just because it's 7 hours behind my country. So, you know, people would text me when I would sleep. And then I would text them when they are asleep. So that is still a big adjustment.
Yeah, when I lived in LA, that was like half of the battle for me, was figuring out when to talk to my family because they were all on the East Coast, and that was a 3-hour time change. I know. I'm just saying, 7 hours is very significant.
When I'm in LA, it's 9 hours from my country. So
we were reading this ESPN article on the way over here. It said that you watched all 10 seasons of Friends at one point.
I just have it, on when.
Are there other like American cultural things like that were helpful at all when you were coming over?
I watch a lot of Prince of Bel-Air. I think those two I watch the most, for sure.
The original show, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's another one?
There's a new one now.
There's a new one. Yeah, I didn't see that one. No, but the original, yeah.
In terms of the NBA and your rookie year coming over, were you surprised at all by your success, your immediate success that you had? Like, how much of an adjustment on the court was it?
Yeah, I was surprised. Like, I think it's my second year, I would say, when I started, like playing way better than my rookie year. Like, I was surprised, when I came to the NBA, I never expected to be, this good of scorer. I was never really a scorer. But, I was really surprised, yeah.
Do you feel like you could pass the ball more? Just being your teammate, I feel like at times I wish you would pass the ball more.
You? I will. If somebody says to me, I will.
I'm only kidding. One of the things I've noticed lately, by the way, is you've always done a good job of this as a pro in terms of hunting matchups. And recently, towards the end of the game, you've hunted Steph, you've hunted LeBron, played well against them. There was a Jazz game where Rudy got some stops on you. The next time you played them down the stretch, you hunted him. What is it about going against the best players and seeking those matchups out that get you going?
I would say like this, because the best players, they got to work on both ends, You just got to make them work on both ends. Like, they bring me up. Maybe not because I'm a good player, maybe because...
you said you were all defense.
I didn't finish it. They think I can't play defense. No, but it's, they play the whole game, they handle the ball a lot. And, you just want to make him tired, work on both ends of the floor and just go at him. You feel like when you have the best player on you, it's like you want to score yes or yes. So, it's like proud moment too.
Yeah. I got to real quick on the ISO thing. And watching you early on in your career, I said very similar to James Harden, especially once you developed that step back three. And when he was in Houston, obviously made a living on that. But even in the way you guys get into your ISOs with the double between the legs. So what are you looking at? What are you feeling when you get into your ISO? When you get to that double between the leg cross, and you either step through right for the drive or you shoot the step back three. Like, what is it that you're reading or that you're feeling from the defense?
You're going to make me tell all my secrets, man. What's the first thing I look? Who's under the basket? If it's a big or it's a small. Then I look if he's already been in the paint and he got to get out. Or if he's outside the paint and he can get in. So I think those are the first two things I look, and then just the way the defense is playing me, which way. Normally they send me right now or left, I don't know. But I just try to now. I try to more to drive the ball because they're gonna collapse and somebody's gonna be open.
I was gonna ask. You're obviously a super perceptive guy. When you were first coming into the league, and even before you got drafted, who were you watching? Whether they were teammates or just your peers, in terms of people that you just admired their games, and you were like, I want to sort of take different parts of their games and add them to mine.
Talk about like NBA or Europe?
Either.
Well, I got both.
So both.
So obviously Spanulis, he was a legend. He retired 1 year ago or 2 years. I always admire him. He was a great leader. One of the clutchest guys ever. He was really clutch, but just his game, he was amazing. And then my teammate Sergio Yu, he was just unbelievable. He was the best player in Europe when I was there, and he just helped me a lot. When watching him practice against him, and just the way he plays with his energy, he helps me a lot. And then I couldn't watch a lot of NBA. It was like 3 a.m. where I was, but obviously LeBron, whatever he's done, his passing skills. Now he's scoring like 50 at 37. It's unbelievable. I think those 3 guys I watched a lot.
We had a very brief conversation when we were teammates about European or overseas superstars versus American superstars, and I thought I don't remember your exact comment, but I thought it was really interesting. And one of the takeaways was the European superstars, a lot of them, and we can talk about Giannis, Jokic, for instance. It seems like they're a little more low maintenance than some other ones. And we can point to American superstars like Steph who are very low maintenance. But culturally, why do you think that is?
I don't know. Are you talking only about basketball players? Because, they're European superstars like Ronaldo, which is...
I was mostly speaking about basketball players.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, Jokic don't have Instagram or nothing. He's just a different guy. He loves his horses. I tried to convince him to make Instagram, but he said no chance. And I don't know, man. But I don't know the answer to that question, But now, with all these Instagrams, Twitter, TikToks, you can make a lot of money. And with the sponsorships, they want you to post things, It's just different world right now than it was.
Yeah, I'm sure after that $205 million extension you saw, and you need those Instagram sponsors.
Yeah, as much as possible, man.
Oh my God. Have you always been a big trash talker, even when you were a kid?
No. I never. No, I wasn't.
But you are now.
Well, if somebody tells me something, I'm going to say back. But I think this year it's been a lot. But before I was never.
Do you feel like I don't remember if this was a label that was given to you when you were coming into the draft, but it's certainly been a label that I've heard a lot in terms of my career, my generation, my era, in terms of the soft European. Did you hear that about yourself?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Even when you got over here, or just when you were at Real Madrid?
No, I think it was like before the draft, and like, let's say first couple games, I saw on Twitter something for sure.
I feel like guys, this is my thing, and I'm not saying you you're very sarcastic. You have a very dry sense of humor. You talk shit in practice. It's funny. We laugh. We talk shit when we play cards. It's funny. We laugh. But I do feel like at times people test you. And I'm sure early in your career they tested you. And even now they probably test you. And I've never seen you back down from that. Like there's always a response, a rebuttal, whether it's verbally or with a play. Where does that sort of come from? Where does that toughness come from?
I just think I'm competitive in everything. Whether it's like I say, playing cards, playing whatever, I just want to win. And if somebody tries to get me going, it gets me going too. Because sometimes in the games you're like sloppy a little bit, Or me, I don't know you, but sometimes you are, and then somebody try to test you. It gets me going. It actually helps me. So, but like I say, I'm just competitive in everything. You can ask all my friends. Sometimes we get mad a lot because I'm that competitive.
There's been stories about this with Kobe and Bron and MJ back in the day about even like fans getting people going, where it's like you might be there and you might sort of not be into a game, and then all of a sudden you hear somebody talk. Has something like that ever happened where like in the middle of a game some sort of random thing happens and you just kind of wake up and you're like, I want to kind of kill now?
Well, yeah, that too, but fans be saying everything, man. Especially some places, man. Fans be just saying whatever, But just to get me going, fans, I don't really know if they did. But they've been saying some crazy stuff, man.
Is this an extension of your inability to lay off the referees? Is it all one and the same, or is the referees sort of in a different bucket? Like the fact that you are constantly berating officials, cussing at them, telling them they suck.
If you saw the last two games, I was really good. I decided.
Actually, you know what? There was a timeout. I was watching the Boston game. Yeah. There was a timeout. You had thought you got fouled. You went over in a very calm manner. You spoke to the referee during the next timeout. I was impressed.
Well, I had a little talk with myself. It was just a real talk. I was like, it was unacceptable no more the way I was acting. Maybe it's some of my, personal issues or everything. But I had talk with myself, and I just said, this can't keep going. It's a really bad look. I knew I was doing this, but I kept going it. So, it's over, man. It's over now. I had to talk with myself. No more, man.
I was going to ask you about, speaking of Kobe, I was going to ask you about the story of him when he was in the sidelines speaking Slovenian to you. Did you have any other relationship with him? Was that the only time you met him? Or we have a lot of guys who come on the show who idolize him, and they spent months and years sometimes with him, just learning from him. Did you have any other sort of perspective on what he brought to the game or anything like that?
Yeah, actually I met him before. It was in Portland, just after I was drafted, I think. It was the Nike campus. He was there, and the one advice he gave me was like, watch out, they're going to come after you because, you're from Europe. They're going to try and go after you. And it was true.
One of our good friends who's been on the podcast before, Asan Minhaj, he's a comedian from New York. You've probably seen him on some stuff, but he talked about this idea of Luka at play. And he said there's no other player, maybe Steph would be the best comparison, but there's no other player who, when they play basketball, they're as free, as carefree, willing to try shit. Like, he compared it to like a young he's not saying you're a young child, but he's compared it to like a young child at play exploring a new world. And it seems like every night you're out on the court exploring new opportunities, exploring new experiences. Where's that sense of freedom come from? And how do I capture it in everything I do?
Oh man, I don't know.
Do you feel that though?
Yeah, I know what he's talking about. Yeah, I feel it. Yeah, but I think it was the one leg step back when people try to do it. I don't know who tried it, but I remember like when I was in Real Madrid, I actually did it once without even like wanting to do it. I just wanted to do a step back, but it was like leg lock, and I did it. So I don't know. These things just comes up in mind while I play basketball. I don't play nothing before. So it's just like, I'm having fun with basketball, and that's all I care.
So when you use the example of the step back against Houston, something you had in practice, now the one-legged shot against Real Madrid. So, but I know you work on your game. So there is some planning involved because you're clearly working on things and you watch film and all that. But I guess the ability to do things on the fly, that's essentially the gift then. The gift is that.
Well, I hope so, yeah. But it also, it's what coach you have, if coach lets you do it. So with both coaches I had, I had the freedom to do that. But maybe I'll get one coach one day, that won't let me do that. So that's going to be a problem then.
Do you have any of your, I was thinking buzzer beaters, but they could be any of your crazy shots? And we talk about this with Steph too, where you two are basically the guys who feels like every couple of weeks you will make some shot where everyone else is just like, what the fuck? No, there's no one else on the planet who could do that. Do you have any of those that you've done that you were even surprised by yourself?
I think it was this year warm up. Nobody got it, but nobody got a video of that. It was like I threw it all the way up there and it bounced and it went in. But I was asking for a video for like 1 week and nobody had it. I was like, what? I said it was the greatest shot I ever made. But nobody got it.
This is what I'm talking about.
That's Tommy. The worst.
This is what I'm talking about, though. You're at play. Like, you're at play.
Well,
you had the shot. You had the shot. What was the shot? Was that the same shot that you would practice? What's the shot you used to do? Oh, Dwight Powell would throw you a ball and you would try to shoulder it in, and you finally made it.
No, I made this a couple times now.
Yeah, because I watched you miss that shot a lot.
No,
like 33 times, something like 33 times.
No, I was just practicing.
The Memphis, when you were there at that point, the buzzer beater against Memphis last year.
Yeah, the floater.
Yeah, that was pretty. That was pretty crazy.
From 3.
Yeah, that was. I think that was lucky a little bit, but that's a tough shot, I would say. But I think my favorite buzzer beater was, my second year, it was against Portland. It was 0.7 on the clock, and we're down 3. And I got the corner shot, and I made it. I think that was the toughest shot.
We all have our favorite go-tos, right? Shirts, sweaters, jeans, the stuff you wear all the time. But what actually makes them your go-tos? The answer is simple: comfort and style. Well, I was getting dressed this morning and realized almost all of my go-tos are from Buck Mason. Buck Mason's clothes are second to none because they're timeless and never go out of style. Everything I get fits great right out of the box and quickly becomes my new favorite.
Buck Mason makes all the essentials: jeans, shirts, jackets, and so much more. The curved hem tee is awesome. GQ calls it the best t-shirt in the game. And even after wearing them and putting them through wash after wash, they look just as good as when I first wore them.
Yeah, Tommy, they just fit great and feel amazing, perfect for going out or lounging around. Trust me, once you try Buck Mason, they'll become your go-tos as well. So head over to buckmason.com/JJ and get a free t-shirt with your first order. I said that right. It's a free t-shirt with your first order. That's buckmason.com/JJ. buckmason.com/JJ to get a free t-shirt with your first order. Hey y'all, don't let aches and pains keep you away from your fitness goals. New Plus CBD pain relief topicals soothe sore muscles and joints so you power through your workout and bounce back faster between sessions. I myself know all too well how aches and pains can slow you down, and the Sport Recovery Stick has really helped my body feel great and respond exactly the way it should.
Plus CBD pain relief topicals feature a potent blend of CBD and menthol and camphor to keep you pain-free and performing at your best. It doesn't matter if you're competing at the highest level or just trying to stay fit, the Plus CBD Sport Recovery Stick and Penetrating Pain Cream are the perfect complements to your training routine.
All Plus CBD products are third-party tested and fully traceable from seed to shelf. That's a big reason why they're the #1 selling natural hemp extract in the U.S. And don't forget, Plus CBD also offers sleep gummies to help make restless nights a thing of the past, among several other products. So make the right choice. Shop now at pluscbdoil.com and enter promo code JJ for 40% off your first order. That's pluscbdoil.com, promo code JJ, 40% off. Do it. Where do you go from here? You're 23 years old. For the third straight season, your numbers are insane. You're averaging 28, 9, and 9. You've made 2 straight first-team All-NBAs. Good chance to make your third straight this year. Like, where do you go? Because we talked with Jason Tatum about this, and he's like, when you do really well as a young player, and those expectations are then placed on you, you can continue to be at that level, but then it's like disappointment if you're not making another jump. Like where does the jump happen? What's the improvement?
Well, obviously, there's one thing, NBA championship. I mean, that's all I wanted. That's all I want. I mean, that's my goal, and that's the only goal I have. And I hope one day it happens. That's all. That's next jump.
Do you entertain MVP talks? Does that matter to you?
I mean, obviously, if you get MVP votes, a conversation obviously matters, because you're talking about the best league in the world and being MVP. It's awesome, but I would always prefer the NBA championship before MVP.
No.
Do you have certain guys around the league that you either like to play against or even just like to watch play?
Oh yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, a lot. Oof. But I think number one is KD, man. When I watch him play, it just looks way too easy. It's just unbelievable, man.
Does he make this? We talk about this with him a lot, but how easy it is for him to score? Does that ever, even for somebody like you, make you a little bit envious that he can just do whatever he wants all the time?
I think everybody feels like that, man. It's just, I don't know, man. It just looks too easy. If you see him, you can say everybody can do it, but only he can do it, man. It's just unbelievable the way he scores the ball.
Before we let you go, we do have to ask about our friend of the show, Jalen Brunson, and just the player he is, the season he's having, how well he played when you were out, and just the importance of him to your team and sort of helping you guys stay afloat while you were out.
Oh yeah, easily. We'll be maybe 500 if he wasn't here, and he's a great guy, great player. This year he's having a huge leap. How do you say?
Yeah, leap. Yep.
See, my English is improving. And he's just been balling. Every game we play, he scores at least 15 or 20 points or 30. And he's just been unbelievable for us. And I think he should be at least top 3 in most improved for sure.
Yeah. Luka, we appreciate the time. I believe this is the first podcast that you've done.
Yes.
I told you it was going to be harmless. It was fine, right?
So.
It was fine.
Nah, it was fine.
All right, we appreciate it, brother.
Thank you.